Welcome to Discover Daily by Perplexity, an AI-generated show on tech, science, and culture. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sienna. Today we're exploring new research from Yale that shows exactly how clutter physically alters our brain's neural pathways. And it's more significant than previously thought.
And speaking of impacts, we've got some interesting developments in tech and space to cover first, from Apple's smartwatch fight to NASA's remarkable economic footprint. Both stories are about measuring real-world effects of innovation.
Let's start with that Apple story, Alex.
Apple just won a patent infringement case against Masimo over smartwatch designs. But here's the twist. They were only awarded $250. The federal jury in Delaware found that previous versions of Masimo's watches violated Apple's patent rights, but current models don't infringe. Apple's lawyers actually said they weren't after the money. Their real goal was to get an injunction against Masimo's smartwatch sales. This comes after Masimo successfully blocked Apple Watch imports over blood oxygen monitoring patents, forcing Apple to remove that feature from new watches sold in the US. The legal battle has already cost Masimo about $100 million, with their CEO Joe Kiani saying he essentially bet the company on this dispute. Masimo claims Apple hired away senior employees after initial partnership discussions, including their chief technology officer. The market's reaction has been relatively muted. Masimo's stock only dipped about 1% after news of the verdict. And while both companies claim victory, the real impact might be more about reputation than revenue. For Apple, it's a reminder that even tech giants aren't invulnerable in patent disputes. For Masimo, despite the infringement ruling on older products, they've managed to protect their current product line and maintain their position in the growing health tech market.
And speaking of economic impact, NASA's latest numbers are pretty remarkable.
They really are. In their latest agency-wide economic impact report, NASA reports that it generated $75.6 billion for the U.S. economy in fiscal year 2023, nearly tripling its $25.4 billion budget. The Moon to Mars initiative alone created $23.8 billion in economic output and supported over 96,000 jobs. What's particularly interesting is how this impact spread across the country. 45 states received over $10 million in benefits, with 8 of those states reaching an economic impact of $1 billion or more. The agency's influence extends far beyond direct employment, as each NASA civil service job reportedly supports at least 16 additional jobs throughout the U.S. economy. And looking at the technology transfer side, NASA's innovations led to 40 new patent applications and 69 patents issued in 2023, showing how space exploration continues to drive innovation in everyday life.
Now let's talk about this new Yale study on clutter in the brain. Researchers have discovered that visual clutter actually alters how information flows through our neural pathways, particularly in the primary visual cortex, our brain's main gateway for processing what we see. This isn't just about being distracted. It's about fundamental changes in how our brains work. The Yale team's research revealed that while clutter's location doesn't change the order of neural information flow, it significantly impacts how efficiently that information moves between neurons. Using macaque monkeys, whose visual systems closely mirror humans, researchers found that cluttered environments create a kind of neural phone tree effect, where the clarity of information degrades as it passes from neuron to neuron. They discovered that visual clutter in certain locations drives information processing to a lesser extent in specific layers of the primary visual cortex. Research shows women in cluttered homes have higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. The effects extend beyond stress. Cluttered environments lead to poorer eating choices, with people twice as likely to choose unhealthy snacks in messy spaces. Even sleep quality suffers, with people in cluttered rooms reporting more difficulty falling and staying asleep. The implications of this research are particularly significant for understanding how our brains process complex visual environments. The study revealed that subunits within larger brain areas perform their own computations and selectively relay information, adding another layer of complexity to how our brains process cluttered environments. This finding helps bridge a long-standing gap between different fields studying vision and perception. What's particularly fascinating is how this neural response to clutter varies among individuals. The Yale researchers found that some people's visual cortexes show heightened sensitivity to disorder, which might explain why certain individuals feel more overwhelmed by mess than others. This suggests that our tolerance for clutter might be partly hardwired into our neural architecture, though the brain remains remarkably adaptable. The research team is now exploring how attention might influence this system, particularly in scenarios where we need to process information from multiple visual sources simultaneously, such as when driving in traffic. Their findings could have implications for understanding how we can better manage and adapt to visually complex environments.
That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform. For more info on anything we covered today, check out the links in our episode description. And don't forget, you can now access Perplexity's AI-powered knowledge base on the go with the mobile app, available for both Android and iOS. We also just released the Perplexity desktop app for Mac OS. In other Perplexity news, the company recently introduced internal knowledge search and spaces. With Perplexity Pro and Enterprise Pro, users can now search across both public web content and their own internal knowledge bases, seamlessly accessing and synthesizing the best information from all sources to get answers faster. Perplexity Spaces, on the other hand, are AI-powered collaboration hubs that can be deeply customized to specific use cases. Whether you're part of a project team conducting research, a sales team creating customer proposals, or a student team working on study guides, Perplexity Spaces gives you a place to work together to get things done. These new features are part of Perplexity's commitment to enabling more holistic, accurate, and fast research, making it the comprehensive knowledge hub for any organization. We'll be back here tomorrow with more stories that matter. Until then, stay curious.